So I think we're live. Hi,
Great.
hi, Janine.
Hi.
So, guys, I'm so excited. I have been looking forward to this since last week after Janine and I talked. So, let me introduce her to you because you're in for a real treat today. Janine Finney is a co-author of the Flip Flop CEO, and which is the best-selling book, and she and her daughter co-wrote it, and they just also released a second book called "Does This Shoe Fit," which is sort of like the next like the part two, and a little bit more, a little bit more detail about the business model of network marketing and how it works and who it works for. And she's also a mom of two now adult girls. She was a former skeptic about network marketing. And actually, she told her daughter that it was a scam when she initially started her business a while ago. But since then, she and her daughter have built an amazing business. They now, as we were just talking, she shares that now she travels 6 months out of the year, and has just had an amazing experience, building her business and also writing the books. And now her goal is to really educate people about what network marketing is really all about and what it's not about. And so I'm really excited to bring her to you, Janine. Welcome, and please let us, tell us, a little bit more of your background, and share this with our audience, and kind of fill us in a little bit more on your personal life as well.
Yes, thank you. Well, I call myself the cheerleader for network marketing, and I was even more than skeptical. Somebody recently used the word cynical, and I was actually cynical. I was my daughter's first dream stealer, unfortunately, and she was just so excited. She knew that she had found exactly what she was looking for. She is somebody that after graduating from college craved freedom, and after getting her first job, she just did not fit into that little corporate box that a lot of people, do fine with. And at the time that she found out about this, I actually had been working in corporate America. I had a job doing business development for a company that I absolutely loved. I had been doing it for 10 years. And the company was sold. The owner decided that she wanted to retire. And all of a sudden, I was left with nothing to show for my 10 years of hard work, and really didn't know what I was going to do next, because I loved what I did and it wasn't something that I could easily replace. So I was even actually looking, and Lory was so excited about what she had found and thought that we could do it together. And unfortunately, I did not see the business as meeting the needs that I had, which is what I think happens to a lot of people. I think there's so many people out there right now that are looking for this. They're looking for exactly what this business is, but they don't perceive it to be what it is. And so Lory just kept talking to me about the products, and I was looking for a way to replace my corporate income, and I wanted a lot of freedom. I wanted to be able to get out of town because it gets really hot in the summer here. And I just didn't see there was any connection between what she was talking about and what I was looking for. And I think that happens a lot. So I don't want to keep going on and on.
No, no, no. Yeah, no, this is great. And that's exactly what, I kind of wanted you to share. And so what was that turning point for you? What kind of got you to start your research? I'm sure you care about your daughter, so you want to make sure that she was doing the right thing for her, right? I mean, that would be my first
Absolutely.
instinct.
Yes. That's the thing. I think I was like a lot of people. I think I was trying to protect her. She had gone to this meeting. She heard about how great this business was. And she came home and told me, and I said, "Oh my gosh, Lory, it is not what you think. You want to run in the opposite direction." And I was one of those people that thought anytime something sounds too good to be true, it is. And honestly, what I've learned is that this business does sound too good to be true, but it really is true. So yeah, I was trying to protect her, and we battled for a year because Lory was just so sure that she was onto something. She could not see, what was wrong with it. And my problem was that I had had an experience 30 plus years ago where somebody did the bait and switch, and it was awful. And people used to do that. People used to be taught to do that. They were taught to lie and say whatever they needed to say to get you to come to a presentation. And so,
I think I hear people still do it actually to this day.
really,
Unfortunately, I just had a conversation with someone, and they recently had an experience like that. So yeah,
well,
unfortunately.
yeah. And the challenge with that is that it's the person that is the problem, and it's the way the person is behaving and the way that they're portraying this business. And sadly, what happens is that people judge the whole profession on that one experience. And that's what I did. And so I was really just really thought, never, ever will I ever be in this kind of a business. And so finally, after a year of battling, actually what happened is that we were on a trip together. I was really trying to figure out what I was going to do next. And a lot of people suggested I become a coach. And I honestly didn't really think I wanted to be a coach, but it's kind of like when you're in that phase where everybody's telling you what you would be good at, you just kind of go with it. I was taking some courses on coaching, and we had gone to Denver on a trip. And Lory is all about fun. So Lory wanted to come along for the fun. So we were coming home from that trip, and she had fallen asleep. And I was desperate for something to read on the plane ride. And she had this little book in her lap. And I just picked it up and started reading it. And in 20 minutes, when she woke up, I was a completely different person. And this was after a year of really just debating. And the book is called The 45-Second Presentation That Will Change Your Life. And it's a very tiny book, and it either speaks to you or it doesn't. And for me, it was like a light switch. The message was profound because it showed me a different way to look at this business than what I had seen before. The book was a little bit cheesy. I mean, it wasn't like it's something that was going to speak to everyone,
Mhm.
but it was just, it showed me that you could do this business in a way that is more about quality than quantity. And I think a lot of times people play a numbers game in this business, and that's what's wrong. I think so many people talk to everyone that's breathing, and they don't really get to know the person and get to know whether or not the person needs something like this. And what I love is that we get to be solution providers, but you can't be a solution to somebody if you don't know that they need a solution. And so that was the big paradigm shift for me. And when I found out that the business could be done in a way that was about serving others and really helping other people find a solution. I love solving problems. I love helping other people solve problems. And when I saw that connection, it just oh my gosh, it was just like a light switch. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is what I love to do. So I think we can do this.
That's fantastic. So 45-second presentation. I would have to check that out. I think I've heard of it, but I
Yeah.
haven't. I don't think I've read it. So take us then to the next step. So you were a changed person. You decided to jump in the business with her, and kind of what how did it work for you? To share that experience, for somebody who maybe is just starting out and is frustrated, and they don't really know. A lot of people who start their business, or even who are thinking about it, right? They think, well, I don't know enough people, or I'm not a salesperson, or I don't really have time to fit it in. I mean, all the same kind of concerns that we hear over and over again. So share a little bit of your experience.
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges is that we are sponsored by, people that do the business a certain way. And what we're taught is that you really need to follow your sponsor. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. But the truth is, what I believe is that we have to be authentic. We have to do this business in a way that is authentic to us. And if the way our sponsor is doing the business is not authentic to us, then that's not going to work. It's not going to be. It's not going to be any fun. It's not going to come across attractively to people that are watching us do it. And so we were kind of in that situation. And I told Lory that I really wanted to do this business differently than I was seeing it being done, because my background, I had just come from 30 years in corporate America, and I didn't see myself being kind of the party lady and really getting excited about that. I just didn't. And my own experience was that a lot of times when I had been invited over to those kinds of things, I went really more out of obligation to support my friend. But a lot of times I would be driving over there thinking, why did I say I would come to this? Why, I don't want to go. And then when you do go, you end up buying some token item that is just something to support your friend. And that scenario was not appealing to me. And so we really, from the very beginning, we really kind of went out and interviewed people that were successful in the business. We interviewed other people that were with the same company that were maybe not doing the business in quite the same way. And we really trusted our intuition. And I think one of the best things that could happen that was perfect for Lory and I is that a lot of times when people start, they want their friend, their mom, their sister, their whoever to do this with them. And so many times it doesn't happen that way. Fortunately, Lory did not give up. Lory didn't have a lot of success in that year that she was trying to talk me into joining her, but she did not give up. She knew somehow that I was going to get this, and I did. And so it was really so fun to have each other. And I think one of the things about this business that's great is that you get to pick who you're in business with. When you go to a job, you go to work, you get whoever you get, And what I love more than anything is that life is about the journey. And most people have to work all week. They live for weekends, they live for vacations. The fact that I could wake up every day and meet my daughter, and that was to start our day. We built our business a lot in Starbucks. We sat down and had one-on-one meetings, because what felt authentic to me was to treat this business like a real business from the get-go. I had always, done a 9 to 5. And so I knew how to do that. In fact, I knew how to do that better than being an entrepreneur. I wasn't a big dreamer. I was always fulfilling somebody else's dreams by being a great employee. And so I just stepped into what I knew how to do, which was to treat this like a real business. And so we, pursued other ways. We kind of took a little bit of this and a little bit of this and just kind of listened to what other people had to say and incorporated it into what would be authentic to us. And it was really fun. I mean, it was just really fun to do it with Lory. And we actually were pretty successful pretty quickly. And unfortunately, though, I discovered that there's a lot of people out there that are still operating with outdated beliefs about the profession of network marketing. And they are hesitant to even talk to you, and I just, that's a hard thing for somebody to take when you're not expecting that to happen. And it happens a lot. And it's because people don't understand. Most people, first of all, they think all network marketing companies are the same. They think every experience is the same as the one they had. They don't stop and do their due diligence and really look more deeply at this business model. And so I just didn't feel like it was right to ignore that. So I felt compelled to do something about changing the perception. And so that's how we ended up on the journey of writing the books. I think I'm the only person on the planet that didn't want to write a book. I mean, everyone you talk to wants to write a book. I didn't. But we felt that there was this, you know, everybody was so rude to us. And I felt like we're the ones that are brilliant. We're the ones that have figured out a way to plan our work around our life instead of our life around our work. And so, and I get it. I get how they feel because I was that person.
Yeah.
But I knew that the challenge is they don't know. They don't know what they're saying no to. So that's why we decided to write the books. And really kind of what's happened to me is that I've kind of gone off into that path and really pursued becoming this cheerleader for this profession more than anything else. And what I love about that is meeting people like you. I get to be associated with and have friendships with people from all different companies. I love the kind of people that rise to the top in this profession are amazing people with the biggest hearts and that love personal development and that love helping others. And so I get to kind of hang out with those people and learn about their experiences. And that's how we've also ended up doing a podcast, which is another thing I never wanted to do. But these things just kind of keep coming in my path. And because I'm so passionate about bringing clarity to this topic, that's what I end up really filling my day with is being standing for that because we have a lot of work to do in that regard.
I agree, and that's one of my passions too. Is I when I started, I'd never really been a part of any business like that before, and so I became a student of the profession. And like you mentioned, it is a profession, and when you treat it as a business, it's going to pay you as a business, right? And if you treat it as a hobby, which unfortunately most people do because there's so little skin in the game for the most part,
Exactly.
you end up sort of you get paid what you put in, right? You get out of it what you put in. And the personal development part is absolutely one of my favorite parts as well in this business. So tell me what were some of the I mean, you've mentioned some already, some of the benefits that and some of the amazing parts that you've experienced in this business, but share a little bit about going from corporate into becoming an entrepreneur, and what are some things that you absolutely did not expect it to be?
Yeah, I think that the saddest thing to me is how many people are living their lives again working for weekends and working for time off and tolerating their lives. I've been talking to a gal recently, a young gal, that every time I talk to her, she just is talking about how much she hates going to work. And I get that. I get that. I spent 30 years doing that. I didn't know that there was any other choice. And I think what's really cool about what my daughter has taught me is that we get to design our lives. And I think a lot of us that are older, I'm a baby boomer, and I think I grew up believing the map that had been, given to me, and that, you're supposed to go to school and you're supposed to get a job and you're supposed to live for weekends and you're supposed to get the vacation and, all these things. And so when we accept that as reality, we don't question it. And what Lory has taught me to do is recognize that we have choices. And what I learned after she graduated was that Lory would start a new year of college. She would pick all the fun things that she wanted to do first, and she would plan her classes around those fun things. So she had it right. And I think, I was so shocked to end up with a daughter that was like this, because she watched me for so many years go to work in the dark, come home in the dark. And sometimes we teach our children by being an example of what they don't want to be. And Lory didn't want to be like me. And so she had it right. And she knew that she had found this way for her to live her life like she did in college, to plan all the priorities first and do her work around that. And she hung on to that. She did not give her power away. Most of us give our power away.
Yeah.
Yeah, we come home, and if there's a dream stealer, and that's what happens to so many people, they get into this business, they get a glimpse of what's possible. And then they think, they go home and they talk to their spouse or their mom or their daughter or their friend, and they say, oh, you're not going to do one of those things, are you? And I think the person is like me. I think they really legitimately believe, sounds too good to be true, it must be, this is not the map that you should be following. And so the person quickly just sort of puts their light out, and they go back to conforming. And that is really sad. And I just don't know uh what to do to change that. I mean, I think it's just it's a challenge. And I think there are a lot of people that are living their lives the way they think they're supposed to, feeling victim, feeling like they don't have any choices. And what I just want to shout to the world is, do your research, read our books. I mean, it's not like I'm trying to just sell books. My passion is clarity. My passion is, you know, understand what this business is. Don't say no until you know what you're saying no to. It's not the right thing for everyone. It's not going to be the right business for everyone. But for so many people, it is. And the biggest thing you have to have is the desire for something different. And I find that a lot of people are too comfortable. I think that most people, it's just easier to keep doing what you're doing, and just, gosh, you start on Monday and you kind of think, I don't like Mondays, I don't like this. And then you get to hump day, and then you get to Friday, and then it's the weekend. And we kind of keep going through this thing, and we don't wake up and realize that what we could do is what Lory taught me she did. Think about what you want your life to look like and design it. And if you would rather be, what I love about this business is, if you want to live somewhere else, if you want to live in a small town, you can. This is a virtual online business that you can do from anywhere. It doesn't have the huge price tag that most franchises do. It's basically like a franchise. It's a business in a box.
Yeah.
And people respect franchises. People respect things that we're used to, that we've been accustomed, our society has put on this pedestal. But
Yeah.
this is really a virtual franchise with a small price tag.
Yeah.
It's like the Energizer Bunny, and it's all ready for you. You're the battery. You just add yourself and you get going and you make it happen. And it's so, I mean, the business model, when people understand it, it's like, I really think, why would anyone do anything else? When I see a new franchise go into a center, I think, oh my gosh, those people probably mortgage their house. They put all this money into it, and a lot of times it goes right back out of business, a few months later.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I have had one of the businesses, when I was doing my research and my brain turned, really, it was sort of a tipping point, where I decided, I'm going to find a way. And so franchises were one of the options that I considered. And, what I learned is that actually franchises were considered, they were not considered a legitimate business back in the 50s.
Exactly.
There was a stigma about, around franchises at that time.
Yes.
And, look at where we are now. And, but for me, as a single mom, with a full with a job that I had a 6-figure income full time, working in as a government consultant. I could not quit my job and go start a franchise and mortgage my house. And I didn't have, at the time, I didn't have any other support from anywhere else. And I knew I had to start something alongside my full-time job.
Yes.
And so that's what I learned, that with this business you could actually do that, and you don't have to risk everything you have in order to start this franchise. And then so many people end up they end up surprised, as not just what the initial cost is, but then what the ongoing franchise costs are. And this is not, I mean, nothing against franchises, right? It's great for some people, but they're not accessible to everyone like this business
Exactly.
is.
Yes. And I love what you're saying. That ideally, so Lory quit her job as soon as she found this. She just quit her job. And then she promptly didn't have any success for a year. And so we don't recommend doing that. The
Yeah.
cool thing is that you can do this alongside of what you're doing. And then you can quit your job or cut back on your hours at your job when your income matches what you're already making. So you can transition. And it's a great corporate exit strategy for people that, maybe they're getting ready to retire. They don't want their income to abruptly stop. So they need to transition. And I think part of the challenge is what people perceive this business looking like, what they think it looks like to do this business. I think a lot of people see the people that are sort of doing this like a hobby. There's a lot of people doing this business like a hobby. They like the products, they decide that they want to sell a few products. They do this kind of little, and basically that's a part-time job. And it basically is still trading time for money. The really cool thing about this business, and the reason why I'm so passionate about this, especially for baby boomers or people that are coming into retirement phase in their lives, is that we are working for ongoing income. And once you've had a taste of that, you can never go back. I mean, we're so conditioned to believe that, the answer is to be an employee or to be self-employed. Both of those scenarios require that you show up every day. You don't show up, you don't earn a paycheck. So what we really all need to be working towards is ongoing income, asset income. And
Residual income is another
yes,
way to,
yes.
yeah.
Yes, that's a word that the FTC is really sensitive about. So I kind of, but it really is. It's income that you do the work initially, and then you continue to get paid for it. And yeah, it's not easy. This isn't get rich quick. This isn't a pyramid. It isn't all the things people think. But it is something that if you treat it like a real business and you bring yourself into it and you build it, you're going to continue to reap the benefits for years and years to come. And that's why I call it kind of like a sweat equity retirement plan, because it's a way for you to put in your effort. And, if you're somebody that got all of a sudden the years snuck up on you and you're at this age and you're not prepared and you don't have this income coming in, this is a way for you to instantly start creating that and creating something that's going to continue to pay you in an ongoing way. So that you can do around your life and around your other job. So I think the problem is that, again, people see the people that are sort of playing with this business, doing it like a hobby, rather than the people that are stepping into it and treating it like you and I do. That it is really, this is a real business. And if more people looked at it as a legitimate option, just like now they do with franchises. And again, you're so right. There's been an evolution. I think that's what will happen with network marketing as well. And I think that's being sped up because of what's happening in our world now. So many people are realizing the benefits of being able to work virtually. And, so to be able to live wherever you want, to be able to plan your work around your life. I mean, if it's important to you to be there for your kids for certain events or to take them to school and pick them up and be there after school. You get to do your work around your life. When we travel in the summer, we fly fish, and so I do my work around fly fishing. So, we basically decide where we are and, what our day is going to look like. And then I do my work around it. And doing the work is really a lot more facilitating than it is, people have this perception of it's having a bunch of people gathered around and showing them products or that kind of thing. And it definitely does not have to look like that. And it can definitely be a lot more of a one-on-one situation. And I think so many people have realized, even in our profession, how well this business can be done virtually. I mean, how you can show up with anybody anywhere, internationally, or it doesn't have to be limited to your little neighborhood. It's basically anybody that that lives anywhere in the world that your company is.
Yeah.
So I think it looks so different than people think, and that's what we hope when someone reads our books, that we call out every single elephant in the room. We address it. We know what the misconceptions are. I know what they are. I know what it's like to believe all those things. And that's why it's so important to me to talk about the other side of the story. Yes, that is true. There are a lot of, I think because the barrier to entry in this business is so low, anybody can get into it. So if you think about other professions where someone has the opportunity to be earning a six-figure income, they've got to have a degree, they've got to have experience, they've got to have credentials of some kind. There's a lot of requirements. Those requirements are not, I mean, basically there's no discrimination here based on age or gender or ethnicity, or, that's one of the things that's really cool about it. It's like, it's limitless. So it attracts a lot of unsavory characters. And so we have to acknowledge that that's true. And there's more truth. Let's get all the truth on the table. And then you can make an objective decision.
Right. So tell us a little bit about like what, and you touched on it a little bit, but what would you say, what are some mistakes that people make when they they started this business, and what are some reasons why people are not seeing success?
First of all, I think it starts even from the very beginning with how most people get into this business. Lots of people are brought into the business by a friend, and a lot of times the friend it isn't really, doesn't know what they're doing either. It's the blind leading the blind. Maybe the friend just got into the business. And so rather than, which would be fine, that scenario could work as long as someone is really then saying, okay, we are holding this amazing opportunity in our hands. What are we going to do with it? So it's really, first of all, respecting this business and knowing that, if you had just gone out and spent a few $100,000 on a franchise, and I'm sorry, it sounds like I'm picking on franchises, but it's just an easy example because we know what it is. Yeah. But if you had gone out and spent all this money to buy a franchise, you wouldn't just haphazardly, first of all, you wouldn't just jump into it because your friend said, come on, let's go try this. You would probably do your research. You probably would want to make sure that you chose a business that you were interested in, that was congruent to, who you are. There are so many companies out there, and there are a lot of amazing companies, and there are a lot of not amazing companies. Not all companies are the same. And some companies really emphasize more direct sales. Some companies really emphasize more a party plan. Some companies emphasize more structuring to where you're building more a network of consumers, of people that are repeating using the products, that are, you're introducing them to the products and then they're continuing to use them. And nowadays people, because they can shop online, they can, have their own ID number to shop online. And that's what we do. We're, the world has evolved to make this business such a perfect opportunity because now people are used to shopping online. So I think that the biggest thing that that people do is, first of all, get into the business without really even understanding what they have and respecting it, and making sure that what they are doing is something that is the right fit for them. Because again, a lot of times, I had someone that read the Does the Shoe Fit, and she was somebody that had said, I've tried network marketing, it's not for me. A lot of people fall into that category.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, would you read this book? I would love your honest input. She read it. She came back to me and said, oh my gosh, I understand now. I was in the wrong company. I went to a meeting with my husband. My husband got excited about it. He said, let's do this. They got into it. They were into it for a couple of months, and then they got right back out. And she never even knew what happened. She was never connected to the products that were offered. There was nothing about it that was a good fit for her.
Yeah.
So she realized that she had never been deliberate and intentional as she got into this business to choose something that would be congruent for her, and something she would be excited and could authentically share and talk about. So that's one thing. And I think just really, so respecting it and treating it like a real business is huge. And being
And what does that
consistent.
mean? Yeah, what does that mean? Because I mean, I think people need to, understand like what it really takes to treat it like a real business.
I think the biggest thing is, first of all, to have a plan, to really come into it and understand, so what are my goals? And if my goals were really clear: freedom, six-figure income. And I wanted to do that as quickly as I could. So once you know, and that's not going to be everybody's goals. Some people don't need the freedom. Everybody does this business for a different reason. Some people, if they could make an extra $200 a month, that would make a world of difference to their family. And maybe they love having a party, or doing the business in a different way. The cool thing is that there are so many different options out there. So I think, first of all, you have to know what your goal is, and then you need to know, what do I need to do to achieve this goal? Just like we would with anything else. If we were going to go on a diet, we would need to know, like, how many calories, or what do we need to eat to get to this goal. If we were going to work out and we wanted to be in shape, we would know, we'd have a plan. We'd go to, a coach or something and have a plan. We need to have a plan, need to begin with the end in mind. And really then at that point, take the plan seriously. And if your sponsor is not able to help you with that, the cool thing about this business, and we talk about this in Does the Shoe Fit, it's like your sponsor is your mom, but your sponsor is your grandmother, and your sponsor is your great grandmother.
Yeah,
And so
I love that. Yeah.
you
I love
have
the analogy.
this whole family that is around you to
Yeah.
support you.
And
So
aunts and uncles too. Yeah, you
yes,
have all the side people that, like in my experience, I've gotten so much support from people who get absolutely nothing other than satisfaction, and I mean, they just love helping people, right? So that's who is successful in this business. So we can
exactly.
get so much support from all over the place.
Exactly. You're in business for yourself, but you're not by yourself. And there are all kinds of resources around you. So somebody is going to be able to tell you exactly what you need to do, even if it isn't your sponsor. So when I gave the scenario about, a friend tells you to come on in and it's the blind leading the blind, it doesn't have to be. It's okay. You don't have to have somebody is going to know what to do. And if there are people that are successful in your company, you can go to those people and they'd be happy to help you, I'm sure. And so it's really just having a plan, and then working the plan, and then being consistent, treating this like a real business. So many people, if you stop and ask yourself, you're in network marketing, you're not achieving what you want, ask yourself, if I were an employee, would I still have a job?
Yeah,
Am I doing the work? Am I doing what I need to do? So
yeah,
many people don't want to do what they need to do. And if they don't want to do what they need to do, then I would even go deeper and find out, there's 4 different areas of belief. There's belief in the products, belief in the company, belief in network marketing and belief in yourself. So somewhere there's a crack in one of those if you're not doing what you know you need to do. If you really want this to work, if you're not proud of the products, then go find other products. If you're not proud of the company, go find another company. If you're not proud of network marketing, and I think people sometimes are shaky on this, read our books. Educate yourself. And there's lots of books out there for people that are in network marketing. Ours are written for skeptics. So our book is not the only book about network marketing, but it's just written from a different perspective to relate to somebody that is like I was, that has those objections. And most of the time, it's belief in ourselves. That's the issue. And that's why you'll hear this business is a personal development course disguised as a business, because we have to work on ourselves to get better. And oh my gosh, have I ever had to do so much work on myself. When I got into this business, I was coming from corporate. And in corporate, it's a very some of the things I had done before were very cutthroat. They were very competitive. And you have to look over your shoulder to see if somebody's going to try to take your job, and you just have this mentality that is so different. And when you bring that into this scenario, it doesn't work. The cool thing about this business is that you succeed by helping others succeed. You want to sponsor up. If there's somebody better than you, yay, that's who you want to bring into the business. And the cool thing is you get to partner with people that have different strengths than you do.
Yeah.
When I got into the business, Lory was so good at the numbers, and she had studied that comp plan for a year. She knew it inside and out. So when I was like, okay, let's go, she knew what to do. I didn't understand it, but she did. And she'd say, okay, Mom, you've got to do this much this month. And I know how to do that. So I think a lot of people, it's just a matter of they don't have a really clear goal. They don't know how to achieve the goal. They see these people that are where they want to be in the company, but they don't have a plan for how to get from where they are to that goal. And it's all a matter of just breaking it down into little pieces. It all equates to numbers, really. And so and numbers equate to, activity. And it, so
Yeah, things you can control, right? Yeah.
exactly. Yes.
Yeah, you can't
So,
control other people, but you can control what, your attitude and your actions, right?
and that brings up one of the biggest challenges I think about the business is that you can't control other people, and you are dealing with a volunteer army. And, what I learned very quickly is that people say they want something, but uh, they don't do what they need to do to get it. And I mean, it's just like, if you said you wanted to lose 10 pounds, I were your coach, I'd say, okay, this is what you need to do. Well, you can't sit home and eat Oreos every night if you're going to, reach your goal. And so what happens is that we can want this more for other people than they want it for themselves. And that is the saddest thing. That was the biggest challenge for me in this business, is that I could see what was possible, and I could see someone that really needed this business to change their lives. And yet they weren't in a place yet in their lives where they were ready to create new habits and do life differently. And so you really do have to learn that you can't control other people. All you can do is control yourself. And so you really have to pay more attention to what people are doing than what they're saying they want to do. And again, I think it's hard. It's hard in life for us to break old habits. There's a part of our brain that wants to keep us exactly where we are, where it's nice and safe and everything.
Comfortable. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And in order to achieve something different, we have to get out of that little comfort zone.
Yeah.
And we have to be willing to go through being uncomfortable to have something different. And that's what comes up for people in this business, is that, and that's why so many people, I think, give up too quickly. That's the only reason really people fail, I think, is
Yeah.
they just quit too soon. And it's this, it has to do with expectations. We talk about that in the book as well. If you thought that just by joining a gym, you were going to all of a sudden be in shape, then you'd be really disappointed. You paid your money every single month, you signed up. What happened? Or if you thought that you could go once a month and work out and you spent all day working out once a month, it's having the right expectations. It's knowing that I have to do this. And that's where consistency, we were talking about that before and I went off on a tangent, but you can do this business part-time, but you cannot do this business some of the time. And that's what happens to a lot of people, is that they get excited, they jump in, they do it for a while, and then they get distracted, and then they come back and they maybe try it again for a little while, and then after a year they go, it just isn't working for me. Yep, tried network marketing, it just doesn't work. That's the same thing that people would say, tried joining a gym, it just didn't work for me.
Those are the favorite clients of the gyms, right? The ones who pay the fees and don't go.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. And this business is so much like that. And it's really, I think, the other analogy I like to use is it's like a garden. It really is. You have to get all those seeds in the ground, and that's why from the very beginning, this business is different too, because we've been taught to go to school, get educated. Then when we know everything, then we're gonna get into our job and we're gonna start doing it. This is a business where it's on the job training. You're learning as you go. You could read a manual about how to ride a bike forever, but until you get on that bike and start pedaling and trying to balance yourself, you're not going to be able to really know what it is to ride a bike. And this business is the same way. And that makes people uncomfortable sometimes, because there are some people that want to know everything before they get started. They don't want to look foolish. They don't want to, they've got to be the expert. And that's a challenge, because you don't have to know. You could spend a whole lot of time doing that and never get anywhere, because you really never got those seeds in the ground. You never talked to people.
Yeah. They're just kind of getting ready to get ready, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So, so just to close us out, first of all, can you tell us, in your experience, who this business is not for? Like if you're thinking about it and you have these characteristics, and and that's kind of so you can kind of sort yourself out of the equation, right? It's definitely not for you.
Yeah.
What are some of those characteristics?
I think for people that don't love to tell other people about a great find, I think people that, because there are some people that are just naturals for this, I think. And I think a lot of women are, because we find something great and we want to share it with our friends. If that's you, this business is for you, because that's what we get to do, is tell people about something we're excited about. If you're somebody who doesn't like to do that, maybe you just want to make sure that have all your ducks in a row before you ever tell anybody, because your reputation's on the line. If you refer to somebody to something, maybe this isn't as much for you. I learned, I had the wonderful opportunity of doing this business with both of my daughters, and my daughter, Lory, that is the major dreamer who, she just knew what she wanted her life to look like, and she was going to find a way and I believe that we do get what we expect. My other daughter is amazing and super, super great student, super, really good at everything that she does. She is much more of a person who I think that's more into a different realm, because she actually, in this business, one of the things that really bothered her is that she felt responsible for people. She's a people pleaser. And, if somebody would get into the business and they wouldn't be successful, she just couldn't stand that. She felt responsible. So, I think, you've got to be able to not own everybody else's life and, not take responsibility for it. But honestly, the most important thing I think is really the person that wants something different. That person that is like Lory, that could not stand going to a job one more day and wanted the more people, the more uncomfortable, and I hate to say this, but it's true, the more uncomfortable we are with our life right now, the more likely we are to do something to change it. So
Yeah.
people that are really super comfortable, people that are into their title, I think big egos I've
Yeah.
seen can be a challenge, and it's because they're so attached to that title and that degree and what people think of them and
Yeah.
those kinds of things that they can't stand the idea of being, not being respected by everyone around them. And initially, we are ahead of the curve in this business. So we talk about, some things like that in the book. The other thing is that we compare it to careers. We actually, so people that are coming in from like a corporate or traditional 9 to 5 are going to look at this business and they want to look at their resume. Does my resume fit with network marketing? Would this work? And because that's all they've ever done in their lives is compare their resume.
Yeah.
And so we actually do comparisons between nurses and flight attendants and realtors and all these different professions so that people can see what's the same as what I do now and what's different and what would I have to learn. And if the thing you have to learn is something that you don't want to do, if you're somebody that is not a people person and you don't ever enjoy connecting with people, then this is probably not for you. But if you have a big enough desire, there's a lot of ways that you can build this, through social media and, with cold market and, a lot of different things. So
Yeah.
um, I
Yeah.
can't
I
even.
love I love that part of the book where you share the different professions and what's the same and what's different and what they've learned and their experiences, because I think that's very relatable for people. So to I know we actually have gone way past our original time, but one last question and then we'll close. What are you most excited about right now in your life, and in your journey?
I think I'm super excited to be. I've been so focused on the Flip Flop CEO. I've jumped back into building my business, and it excites me to be able to change people's lives. And I'm just excited that I'm grateful that I started doing this, 16 years ago. Before, at the time that I jumped in, I was really helping Lory because I knew she was miserable, and I was doing it to help her. And I didn't know that, gosh, 15 years passes so quickly. And then you're at a different stage in your life. So I'm grateful, grateful, grateful that I started doing this before, and just so grateful that I get to do this around my life, and, that I don't have to be retired. I can still do something, but get to do it on my own terms. So.
That's fantastic. And do you have any parting, parting words of wisdom for our audience?
Oh, please, please, please educate yourself. Please just make sure that if you're at all unhappy with what you're doing, if there's anything in your life that isn't working, um, you know, just please take a closer look at this and make sure that you're not judging it by a person or by one company or by one experience. I mean, really just make sure that you um, are educating yourself about this. And, I really do hope that our books can help you with that, because that is what they're written to do, is bring clarity to help you make an informed decision about whether or not this might be a good fit.
Fantastic. I agree. I mean, I've just finished your second book. I just have a couple of stories left, but pretty much done. And I absolutely loved both of them. And so thank you everyone for joining us today. I will make sure that, we have some links. Janine, like I mentioned, has a podcast, and those books. And I'm sure everybody's free to reach out to you on LinkedIn, and she'll be happy to, in this profession, we believe that the rising tide lifts all ships, right?
Yes.
And so thank you so much for your time and for your wisdom and for sharing your story. And please check out her books. And if you have somebody who is you know, a skeptic or a cynic, definitely share the first three chapters, right, with them.
Yes.
Just have them read the first three chapters, and and then let them make their own decision. All right.
Yes.
So thanks, guys, for joining us today, and we'll sign off and see you later.
Thank you.